Hi, I'm Dr. Patrick Foy, and I am an MD or medical doctor, and I'm the director of the Tailbone Pain Center or Coccyx Pain Center. And you can find me online at tailbonedoctor.com. And this is just a really short video regarding the question of what's the best injection to do for a patient who has tailbone pain. So let's assume that other treatments were not working, medications by mouth and cushions and other things. This question came up recently. I was speaking at a medical conference, and one of the other physicians on the panel asked me after the session and said, "Oh, you treat a lot of tailbone pain. What's the best injection to do for these patients?" And I thought it was a really interesting question because it assumes that there's just one best thing to do, when really there's a variety of different types of injections that can be done for tailbone pain. And more importantly, it depends upon the diagnosis. One of the things that unfortunately I see a lot is that patients have injections done without having a diagnosis first. Here at the Tailbone Pain Center, I've treated thousands of patients with coccydynia, tailbone pain, and I ask them to bring with them their previous procedure notes if they've had injections in the tailbone region. And it is unfortunately very, very common that injections have been done without a diagnosis being made first. And that's really important because the diagnosis is going to lay the groundwork for figuring out what type of injection, if any, makes the most sense to do in any given patient. And the comparison that I make is that it would be similar to going into the mechanic and asking, what's the best thing to fix when somebody brings their car in with car problems? And you'd say, well, that's sort of a ridiculous question. It would depend. What's the problem with the car? You'd have to make the diagnosis first. Is it a problem with the fan belt or the carburetor or the spark plug or the muffler or whatever else may be going on? And similarly at the tailbone, there's a number of different things that can cause tailbone pain. Everything from malignancies that can be life-threatening, to bone spurs, to arthritis, to fractures, to dislocations, to very commonly we see patients with dynamic instability, which is an instability of the joints between which is the space in between the bones of the coccyx, where we can detect that by doing the x-rays while the person is sitting compared with the position of the tailbone while the person is standing. And while they're sitting, that weight bearing may show that they have a dislocating joint at one particular spot within the coccyx. And unfortunately, I've seen probably hundreds and hundreds of patients where this exact scenario has happened, where they've had previous injections done, but they were not at the spot where the patient actually has their pathology. Or a patient may have a bone spur, a little bit of extra bone down at the lower tip of the coccyx, and that's where they have all of their pain. And yet I read the procedure note and they had their injection done up at the top of the coccyx, the exact opposite end, not at the spot where they're having their pain. The short answer to the question, what's the best injection to do for tailbone pain, is it depends. It depends what's causing the tailbone pain. And the longer answer, I'll refer you to online. This is just going to be a short video, but it's everything from there's coccyx steroid injections, there's particular types of nerve blocks and other things that can be done. I'll put the link down below to some online articles that I've written on injections at the tailbone. There's also a whole chapter on on injections in the tailbone within my book that I've written, which is Tailbone Pain Relief Now. That's on Amazon, at least on the United States website for Amazon. The book is available, or at least at the time that I'm writing this or doing this video, rather, the book is available for free at the website tailbonebook.com. So if you live, that's only if you live in the United States, basically you just pay for shipping and handling. So that's tailbonebook.com if you want to get a copy of the book. And there's an entire chapter in there specifically on the topic of injections for tailbone pain. So anyway, that's my answer to the question of what's the best injection to do for patients with tailbone pain. So I hope that this was helpful. I'll post the links down below, where you can find the book if you're interested in that, but also to some online articles that I've written about some of the different types of injections that are done in the treatment of tailbone pain. And if you want further information or to come and see me in person for an evaluation, the easiest way to find me is online at www.tailbonedoctor.com. So I hope the video has been helpful, and all the best. Bye-bye.